Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome into the Collector Art House. We're gonna have a fun video tonight. I have a few really exciting things that we're gonna showcase. That's why we have the overhead bar for the overhead camera. All right. So a couple of things just came in, couple special offers. You know, we do a lot of things on the channel. We talk about the history of the game, we talk about the art of the game. We've even had game players on to talk about the state of play in the game. A variety show of sorts with a lot of lives, a lot of recently recorded content talking about the kind of the market positioning of sorcery, I guess, and some of the projected outlook of some of the big catalysts that are coming up with SCG Con, just coming off of Gen Con, Dragon Lord mini set, Gothic coming out. It's a variety show, all types of things. But one of the things I'm really passionate about is the art of the game and collaborating with the many artists of sorcery and around sorcery, I guess I'd say. Artists that do artist proofs, altars, all kinds of things relating to sorcery. I guess altars would be the category. The artist proofs, of course, are done by the artists themselves. They receive 25 copies of all of their cards that are in the core sets. So there are not copies of the promo cards, the curio cards. I guess those are the two main categories that have not received artist proof cards to date. All the other cards that are in the core booster box set and the Dragon Lord mini set, they receive 25 copies of the artist proofs, the artist paint on the back. I offer those through auction, direct sale through my Patreon, through direct channels to the public in various ways. All kinds of things. A lot of interesting stuff, all right? But what I want to show you tonight, guys, is a couple of things that came in from the great Severine Pineaux. As you know, I'm one of the top backers of Sorcery Kickstarter. So the top 4 backers of the Kickstarter, each of them got one of the original oil on canvas paintings of the iconic elemental avatars. I actually received the Avatar of Fire, but I always wanted the Avatar of Air. You know, it's always been my favorite, the one I coveted, the one I wanted to chase. Took me years to pull it off, but I finally made a deal in which I had to give up the Avatar of Fire, make a big sacrifice there, and obtain the beautiful Avatar of Air. All right. So there it is. And as I got to start working with some of the artists of sorcery, the first artists I believe I worked with were Severine Pineaux, Elvira Shakarova, and Vincent Pompetti, right? 3 artists, international artists that made their splash debut in this beautiful TCG. 3 of the most iconic artists, I would say. Pompetti had the most pieces in Alpha. I think it was 25 artworks in Alpha. Severin, did the Philosopher's Stone, the Elemental Avatars. So many great pieces that we love and cherish from Alpha. And Elvira did the mixes, so we have the Alchemy 9 represented. She did the Dream Quest, the Elementalist. I mean, so many amazing paintings. So what I like to do is collaborate with the artists and do special things these days with embellished prints, playmats, those types of things. So what I wanted to show was a couple things that came in from the latest collaboration, if I could figure out how to use the computer, from Severine Pineaux. All right, so the first is the embellished print. This is a series of 15 prints. And guys, if you hadn't seen my last video that I published recently, I did a complete history of the elemental avatars, starting with the alpha precons, the elemental avatars that were in those pre-constructed decks, all the way back to the earliest development cards. And the one thing I did not have in that video, of course, was the original painting. I don't know why. I forgot to put it on the shelf. Or maybe it was in the background. I didn't draw attention to it. But that is a really interesting video. Please go and watch that one. And you get the complete history of how these elemental avatars made such a profound impact on sorcery. But if you notice this print, what's special about this print is that this is a embellished print, right? So you can see it popping off the light right there. All of the embellishments throughout the piece, on the butterfly, above the elemental avatars, on the pearls, throughout the here, you get this gold accent on the right side. There's 15 copies of these that Severin has sent me, and they're being offered through Collector Art House Patreon. So the way I typically do these embellished prints is they typically tend to be a series of 10, 15, sometimes at max 20. Most of the time it's been 10. All right, so for this one, since the Patreon has grown tremendously, and I thank you guys all for your generous support, we were initially thinking about doing 20, but conservatively we decided to call it 15. to keep it limited, keep demand high, try to satisfy as many of the patrons as we could. And I'm running a pre-sale exclusively to Patreon supporters of Collector Art House this week, which ends on Saturday. So if they do not all sell out by Saturday, it'll be open to the public. I'll let others buy in on it, but typically these are in very high demand, so they sell out within the Patreon. I think there has been about 10 or 11, I want to say 11 people so far. So they have a few more days. There might be 3 or 4 that shake loose at the end of that. So if you're interested, please check out the Collector Art House Patreon, always linked in my video comments. That is the first thing. Next, we have an amazing playmat concept matching this concept, which is where this idea originated. So here we have the 4 elemental avatars, and this is a sample print. So they did a little rough job of it. You see it's kind of cut off here, so it's not centered quite right. They need to raise this. This is why you do sample prints, guys, right? They need to raise the grid up, and then these 2 icons, you'll have the Collector Art House icon tastefully here in the lower left corner, and Severine's logo icon, which is always in our collaborative pieces. They're gold to kind of match the color balance of the piece. So this was the sample print. It looks really beautiful. I'm actually a little bit torn because if you look at the print file, the color tones of the print file version are actually much lighter than this. However, as I'm looking at it under the light, you can see how beautiful this piece is. The color saturation is a lot deeper. The color values are richer. The blues really pop. All the different colorful aspects of the bird, the avatar of water. And then at first I thought, like, in the lighting that I was showcasing these earlier, and these looked a little darker, right? And you couldn't make out the details of the avatars. But if I zoom a little bit here under better lighting, you can see how tremendous this playmat looks. This is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. These are being offered to the public. However, I take all of the orders through the Collector Art House Patreon. So you do not have to be in the paid tier. There's a free tier level of Patreon. So you just go to Collector Art House Patreon, again, linked in the video, and you can sign up at the free tier and comment against my pre-order post for the elemental avatars. And you could claim one of these. You see underneath, I have the Philosopher's Stone. Notice these are not official sorcery playmats. These are a personal collaboration between Collector Art House and the artist, Severine Pineaux, who owns the copyright. So she can do whatever she wants with her artwork, and we collaborate to offer these. I collaborate with a lot of the artists. I've done several pieces with Severine. We have the Philosopher's Stone, the Bower of Bliss, the Keythera Mechanism, and now this amazing elemental avatar playmat, which, as you can see, looks absolutely incredible. Gorgeous playmat. It comes in single player size and 2-player size. So if you go to the Patreon, you'll find the full post with all the pricing. If you sign up at the free tier, you can buy it right at the full price. If you sign up for the Patreon at any of the paid tiers, you get a $5 discount per mat. And really that adds quickly. You know, if you want to get this and some of the other mats, it basically pays for itself within the Patreon. So it's a very nice, generous offer. If you want to support the art house and get a great deal on these playmats, you can see it's gorgeous. I actually wrote to the company that manufactured these. Again, this is a sample, and we're working out the color details. I'm going to get another test print. But now as I'm looking at this more and more, I might just leave this as is. I'm wondering what they could do to lighten this side up, but I'm telling you guys, this looks absolutely incredible. Now that I see it on my desk under proper lighting, oh my God. It's just a brilliant concept. It's so iconic. All 4 elemental avatars, single player. I have the 2-player playmat, which I'm not showing because it'll look like this philo stone. It's very large, so I can't get it under the overhead camera, but an amazing 2-player version of this. And the second piece is Pond by Sam McKinnon. Now, this one is going to be a bit misleading. Here, it looks like the beautiful pond artwork by Sam, but if you look at natural lighting, it's a little misleading how you're seeing it on the camera right now. It's actually has these orangish hues, really. If you look at the original piece for Pond, it's largely a yellow color palette, right? So this almost looks like a Halloween-esque variant with this like blood orange, right? So this one I'm definitely going to get reworked. We're in the pre-order window. So I'm working out the samples, and I'm going to print largely to order based on the pre-orders. And then I always get some overage in case some things are lost or damage in shipment, very low odds of that, but things happen. Or if people just want to buy later, usually the price is higher after the pre-order window, but that helps me really gauge demand and figure out how many I want to print of these. And I'll probably Sam will also probably buy some for folks when he goes to shows and things like that. Sometimes the artists choose to do that. Other times they work with me for convenience and to kind of market to my Patreon and all the sorcery fans out there. So beautiful pond playmat. This also comes in single player and 2-player. Again, you could go to the Collector Art House Patreon. You can see the full price list of that and the various Severine pieces. So single player, 2-player pond, single player, 2-player elemental avatars, and the Bower of Bliss, Keith Era mechanism, and the Philosopher's Stone. Amazing selection. Top of the line. These ones were really nice. I went with like a thicker print. So we'll see how you guys like that versus the first series. So the Philo, the Keith Era, and the Bower of Bliss, they were a thinner mat because I was getting a lot of feedback that people liked the thinner because it was lighter, easier to transport. This time I went significantly thicker. I think it was about twice the thickness as the last one. So they feel very substantial, very high quality. I opt to not do stitching because I like the nice, clean, natural look of no stitching. And also when you're handling cards, I think it's really nice to be able to slide the cards off the edge. So I opt for no stitching. I like that clean look, personal preference type thing. But the quality is beautiful. The mats look great. I think we're probably good to go on this one. I'll probably get another sample print of this one, and it'll look a lot more similar to the card. And we'll keep that pre-order open until I get those new samples. But please go and order this week at Collector Art House Patreon, or within the next week or so, let's say, by the time I get this ironed out and place the order. Thank you guys for your interest. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some really exciting things coming up every single day at the Sorcery Community Group and in the Collector Art House Discord. We have amazing offers in collaboration with these brilliant artists. You see original new artwork every single day, artist proofs, altars. We've had an original painting every week from Sorcery, sometimes personal pieces beyond Sorcery. And there's some really exciting pieces coming up, guys. We're talking Alpha, Arthurian Legends. Do I have any Arthurian Legends left? I think I have Alpha, several Alpha pieces. There's at least a couple Alpha pieces, I believe. 1 or 2. I have a couple promo pieces. Very interesting. And then we actually have a couple Gothic pieces. So there's a lot to come. It's going to be really exciting. Please join all of the links in the show comments. And we will see you on the next one at Collector House. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.